Hey guys, I'm just editing my video here. You guys are really going to like this one. So I did another city tour this week and I went to the town of Fort Pierce here in Southeast Florida. And I've only been to Fort Pierce a couple times. It's a small town, but let me just say, although the town may be small, they are big on hospitality. I had the most amazing day. The people of Fort Pierce opened up their arms and were the most generous people I can tell you I've ever met in a long time. It was absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, I'm enjoying this wonderful Sailfish double IPA from Sailfish Brewing. You'll see that in the video, a local brewery there. By the way, David, thank you so much for the beer. At 9.8 though, I'm only gonna have one because if I drink a second one, I'll never get this video edited. But guys, Fort Pierce is a cool little town. I definitely recommend going there, checking them out. Go to their restaurants. You'll see in this video, it's just a wonderful small town here in Florida with the people with a really big heart. So, you guys ready? All right, let's go on another adventure. Are you guys ready for another tour of another Florida city? Well, today I'm showing you Fort Pierce and we're getting started right now. Hey everybody, I'm Paul Meaches Paul, your local realtor and guide to Florida living, and welcome back to another city tour where I show you a Florida city. We dive into the history. I'll show you some great places to eat. We'll talk about some cool attractions. We'll talk a little bit about real estate. But really, we're just going to dive in and learn a little bit about another town that you might want to visit or maybe move to. So today, we're showing you Fort Pierce, which is north of Port St. Lucie. This is one of the farthest cities I've gone to, farthest north that I've gone to so far. And this is a quaint, old Florida fishing town, and there's some cool history here, like the Seven Gables house I'm standing in front of right here. This is actually the Chamber of Commerce house, but this house is 118 years old. It was built in 1908, and it's named for seven sisters, so you got the Seven Gables. And interestingly enough, the house at one time was actually a brothel. It was also used by the military, so pretty interesting history there. And as I turn around, let me show you that we're right over here by one of the places we're going to check out. They have the Manatee Observation and Education Center. So this is a cool place. As you can see, they have this colorful manatee right here with a little world piece on it. So some little artwork there, and we're right by the water. You can see the water out there. And so there's some history here, some things to check out. And we are going to get out and explore. I brought my e-bike, and we're going to cruise around and show you guys Fort Pierce. You can see we're parked here at one of the marinas, and so definitely big boating and fishing community. Fort Pierce is an excellent place to go fishing, especially some of the islands up around here. I know my son came up here and did some fishing with one of his buddies. And speaking of water, we're also going to stop by, now we're probably not going to be able to go in, but we're going to stop by a museum today, and it is a museum for the Navy SEALs, because over the bridge and over on the island, Hudson Island, is where the U.S. Navy SEALs trained back in the 1940s during World War II. And funny enough, a lot of the servicemen used to come over to the brothel. I was just reading that. So it was turned into a brothel like in 1943, right around the time when those servicemen were here. So, but there's a really cool place over here. We're going to also check out a really cool historic fish bait and tackle shop that's over here. There's some cool history with that. And as I said, we'll show you this museum that honors the Navy SEALs. Really cool, and I've been wanting to check that out for a while. So, but you can see down here, they got this walkway down here where you can come out and do some fishing or just hang out on the walk and enjoy the view. It's kind of a muggy, cloudy, ugly day. We're going to try to beat the rain, so we'll see how today goes. But I'm going to hop on my bike and let's go cruise around Fort Pierce. So you can see we're on Indian River and Marina Way, and they have a confusion circle just like Stewart, and so many other little oceanside towns. They all seem to have these little circular downtown areas, which I guess was a thing when they developed the cities. They're always fun to go through. All right, history lesson. So, Fort Pierce, how did it get its name? Well, Fort Pierce was named after a military camp that was built in 1838 during the Second Seminole Indian War. And the fort, or the post, was named after Benjamin Pierce. He was a career military officer and also the brother of President Franklin Pierce. Fort Pierce was later incorporated in 1901, and it is the county seat of Port St. Lucie County. And like many cities, it has a nickname, and the one for Fort Pierce is the Sunrise City, for the beautiful sunrises you can catch over the Indian River and the Atlantic Ocean. And as I said, it is one of the smaller towns. Its population as of 2023 was about 49,000 plus people. So I'm sure that's fluctuated a little bit as people move in and people move out, but still a relatively small town. So we are standing in front of the P.B. Cobb Trading Center, and this is a historical landmark here in Fort Pierce. So you can see the building, which there's a painting of it here that was painted in 1960 by A.E. Bean Bacchus, I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's a famous painter who was born and raised here in Fort Pierce. But this building here is the longest lasting, continually operated commercial building between St. Augustine and Key West, and it was built in 1882. And this building was the first store in Fort Pierce. So the building was originally built by Annie Hogue and her husband, Captain Hogue. Annie was of Scottish royalty, and she ran the trading post, and her husband, who was a captain, sailed along Florida and the West Indies doing trading. So this was initially a trading post, but later on they decided to sell the property. So they sold it to an oyster cannery company, and they were here for many years, and then the oyster cannery company sold it to one of their employees, a gentleman by the name of Peter Cobb, hence the Cobb Trading Post. So Cobb had made it a general store, and his slogan was everything to eat, wear, and use. That was his slogan for this particular place. And then it was some other buildings as well. It was an unofficial bank at one time, and I believe a post office. So Mr. Cobb closed the store in 1915, and then he opened up a clothing store, and then he retired in 1932. But he was a big part of Fort Pierce in the early years. And now we're heading into like the downtown area. So as we cruise through, it's definitely, look at the skeleton up in the skeleton up there. But as you cruise through, it's kind of got an old Florida vibe, right? Again, it's a small town, and there is some new projects going on, and we'll talk about real estate in a little while, but I know there's some luxury properties going up. I think some townhomes that started about 1.5 million, somewhere over here in the King District, I was reading, but for the most part, I think, you know, the cost of living up here is pretty inexpensive. Again, it's a older city, and it's not going to have as many things going on as, say, a Delray or all that, but I think the city likes that. The locals up here like that it's a small town vibe, as many of the people do when I make these videos and I visit these cities. You know, they like to keep it small, and I can't blame them. So, be respectful if you're coming here and you're visiting, and visit some of the local shops that we're going to highlight today. But it's a charming downtown. It's got some neat history, and well, as you look over there in the corner, I see craft beer and Sailfish Brewery. That happens to be one of my favorite craft breweries, and we're actually going to stop by there in just a little bit. But check out this building. Look how cool this building is. I mean, just, you got the old with the new. It's pretty cool. The Rollerson building. This is pretty neat. So you have to love small towns. I was asking for directions to the Sunrise Theater, and I asked this one lady, and she goes, I have no idea, I just moved here. I've been here for a week. And then a couple other guys across the street heard me, and they go, what are you looking for, buddy? And I said, the Sunrise. And they said, keep going up the street and you'll be right there. So right up the street I went, and this is the historic Sunrise Theater of Fort Pierce. So the Sunrise opened August 1st, 1923, and it was the largest theater on the East Coast between Jacksonville and Miami. It's over 100 years old, and it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Now, we're not going to be able to go into it today because they have a summer camp with kids and all that, and a contract with the city of Fort Pierce. So we're just going to have to look at it from the outside, but I imagine it's really pretty on the inside, and I'll post a picture that I think I found online. But it is a really neat old building, and again, part of the history here of Fort Pierce. So after many, many years of shows and plays and entertainment, sadly, the theater was closed down in 1983 due to neglect, right? It just kind of started to fall into disrepair, and there was no one really interested in saving the building. There was also a proposal to make it into like a multi-screen theater, but that was rejected and didn't happen. But in 1988, after the downtown Fort Pierce Association, they have a Main Street Association, got together and started to revitalize downtown Fort Pierce. They realized that they needed an entertainment complex, and so they got together, they raised some funds, got some people, did what they did and got donations, and they revitalized this historic theater, and now people can come here for entertainment, shows, and there's actually, like I said, a summer camp going on for kids. So really cool. I love that they saved it. I love that they can keep historical places like this around for generations to enjoy. But all right, so there's a little bit of history about Fort Pierce. Let's go check out something that's a little more newer, but nonetheless very cool in my eyes. We're gonna go check out a brewery. There's an air raid siren going on. So either the nuclear power plant's doing a test, there's a tornado coming, or we're being invaded. This might be my last video for you guys. It's right in the downtown area, and this happens to be one of my wife and I's favorite microbreweries here in the state of Florida. They make a really good IPA, Sunrise IPA, and they have some other great beers. I just found out they actually have a double IPA. Those are strong. But anyway, the owner is actually going to meet me here and let me go inside. They're not open yet. They open at 4, but he's going to let me come inside and take a look at this cool brewery. So let's go inside. Yeah, I'll just get some B-roll footage of it. We do the canning. I hear you guys have a double Sunrise. Yeah. Nice. All right, guys, this is really cool. This is where the beer is made. So all the hops, the boilers. This is really nice of him to allow me to come back in here. And you can see the malt and everything. So it's really pretty cool. Let's see how this guy's. So you see the Sunrise, right, named after the city, nicknamed the Sunrise. It's a little noisy back here, but that's some of the beers they have. And you can see the brewing over here. And then, oh, my goodness, look at all this beer. So they got this screen in here, the inside, and they open at 4, as I said. So right now it's they're doing work, and so that's really cool of them. But big inside area, outside area, and as I said, some amazing beer. So you definitely want to come here and check these guys out. And if you're visiting Fort Pierce, and if not, go to the store. They sell them at Publix and a lot of places you can get it, and it's really good stuff. They also got merch, so you can get yourself a cool hat, keep that sun off your head. All right, also, this is Dave. He's the owner and CEO of...
Co-founder, president.
Co-founder, president, the main boss, the main beer guy, head honcho. So, well, hey, thanks for letting us come in and check out your brewery.
Anytime.
So when did you guys open up?
So we actually started a little over 12 years ago. We started in a smaller house about 2 blocks down the road where Cidery's at now.
Oh, cool.
We moved into this building, which used to be the old downtown, used to be the old JCPenney's in downtown Fort Pierce. So we moved in here about 9 years ago. And it's about a 25,000 square foot building. We have our brewery in the back, pumping out all the beer that serves the great state of Florida. And we have a great restaurant tap room up front.
Awesome, and of course you got some beers like the Sunrise, which is named after the city,
yeah,
the Sunrise City.
Yeah, Fort Pierce. It's our flagship. You know, you can pretty much find that wherever you go, any Publix, any big box store, and a lot of places on draft as well too. And then we launched Double Sunrise this year, which is just in its name. It's a double IPA.
Talking my language, double IP.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
IPA, yeah.
You know, same kind of hop profile with Mosaic and Amarillo. Our twist on that is we added pineapple to it. There with pineapple in Fort Pierce, Fort Pierce, the Treasure Coast used to be a big purveyor of pineapple farm,
right.
Back years ago. So we actually still get our pineapples from El Paso.
Oh,
Which is one of
cool.
the last local pineapple farmers in this area.
Oh, I did not
So
know
that's
that.
why we kind of pick pineapple. Is like that's kind of who we are.
Yeah, I talked about Jensen. I did a video on Jensen and talked about the history of the pineapple and how it was
Yeah.
pineapple capital of the world at one time and all that.
It's,
So,
they farmed a lot of pineapples here,
Yeah.
before the citrus days, and that was a big part of 50, 40 years ago of like what was coming out of here. There's old postcards and pictures you can find of horse and buggy pulling pineapples in the back.
and you see it on a lot of homes. They'll have the wood framed with the wood of that and they have the pineapple carved out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
it's
yeah.
this Florida thing.
Yep.
And what a great taste in a beer. So I'm excited.
It came
to
out
try.
nice. I've never had this many people come up to me and tell me that they don't normally drink double IPAs, but they love that double IPA.
Yeah, well, I'll have one. My earlier days when I was into this back in 2011, I could drink 2 or 3, but as age, no. And now I'm an old man. I'll have one and I'll be good for the night. But hey,
I'm right there with you. So that's why we invented light tackle. So that's our light lager. That's my go-to nowadays. That's the Cove beer, the Busch Light of Fort Pierce.
Awesome. Well, as I said, my wife loves your stuff, and it's her hero, Brave Juice, whatever.
Yep.
What do they call it? So it gets her out on the boat with her brother-in-law. I mean, her brother. So when she gets nervous, she has
Cuts
a
those
she has a
nerves a
sunrise.
little
Yeah, it makes it a little better.
Yeah. Well, hopefully she likes double sunrise too, and that maybe gets her a little bit quicker there.
Thanks,
on
man.
the water. So yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Appreciate
Glad
it,
you came
brother. Thank you. We love supporting you and make sure that people, I'll tell them how to come here and find you and find your merch online.
out. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, that was really cool. But coming out here, and this Rollerson building is another historic building, and it's named after a gentleman who was one of the first Chamber of Commerce members. And there's a couple stores in here, as you can see. There's a place down here. There's a Modern Pink Beauty if you want to get your hair done, right? Your local businesses. And then there's Juice Pill, right? Got this cool place right here. And what's neat about that is I happened to meet the owner, and this is D'Amico.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm D'Amico.
He's the owner. So what's going on, man?
Hey, hi, I'm the owner of Juice Appeal. We're a healthier fast food establishment. We sell cold pressed juices, sandwiches, wraps, acai bowls. We're in the Rollerson building.
Yeah, this is a cool old building to be in. So, while I'm up here talking about Fort Pierce, are you from the area?
Yes, I'm from the area. I live local.
Nice.
Originally from the Bahamas, but I've been in Fort Pierce for a long,
Juice
long
fan from the
time.
Bahamas, so he
There
knows
you
how to
go.
make the right kind of juice.
There you go.
Exactly.
All natural, all good for you. We have no sugars, no preservatives, just good.
And it's hot out today, so
and it's hot. You need it.
That's perfect.
Yes.
That is so cool, man. I appreciate you coming on my channel. I'm talking about the history of Fort Pierce and what an
this
amazing little
building,
town.
It's
And yeah,
100 years old. Would you believe this building's 100 years old this year?
yeah, this is so cool.
Still in great shape. It's registered on the historic buildings.
Oh yeah. You can see right here they got the 1924. There you go, man. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal.
Awesome, man.
building.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on and
problem.
telling my audience about you. And if they, people come to visit Fort Pierce, I know they can get a good beer, but if they're not a beer drinker, they can come across.
Yes.
Right?
Get a healthy juice.
Yeah, go to
100% organic. It's good for you.
Oh, sweet, man. Thanks, buddy.
Pleasure,
Appreciate
pleasure
it.
to meet you.
As Jimmy Buffett would say, I blew out my flip-flop, except I blew out my tire. So we're pushing it back to the car. That's okay, because before we go eat, one of the places I wanted to check out is right where my car is parked, and that is the Manatee Center. All right, so we're back over here by the marina, and because the Gable House is right back there where we started the video, and this is the Manatee Marine Center, and this is about $3 to go in, and you can go in here and learn about the water and the wildlife and about manatees. So if you got some young ones or old ones, doesn't really matter any age, it's cool to go check out. So we're gonna go in here and check this out real quick. Learn about the mangroves. So this is pretty cool, guys. So it's an educational center. It's only $3 to get in, and every once in a while we'll go outside They do have manatees, and of course there's some manatee art. But the whole idea here is they're teaching you about all of the wildlife and everything as far as the aquatic wildlife here around Fort Pierce and our waterways in general. So this is a great place, good place to bring the kids to teach them so they can understand, and tourists and anybody. So you got this cool fish tank over here with all these beautiful fish, and check this out. They go through the tube. This is cool. They're going through the channel. Hey there, mate. He shrunk. Oh my goodness, what happened? Mangrove, seagrass beds, ocean reef, and then deep water ocean, the different fish you can see in the different parts of the water. All right, I am hungry, so let's go get a bite. Hey, so I told you I was going to eat somewhere locally, and we are stopping off at Cobbs Landing. This is a local restaurant, and I did a poll and I asked you guys what I should eat out of these two sandwiches, and well, you voted, and the winner was the mahi sandwich, which is a potato chip crusted mahi sandwich. The other option was a chicken smoking chicken sandwich. I know, a hot spicy chicken sandwich, but the mahi won out, so let's go inside and we'll get a bite to eat. All right, guys, hey, we are here at Cobbs Landing, one of the restaurants here down by the waterfront. I apologize if there's a little wind noise, but I have to, this microphone's just acting really dumb today. I don't know what it is with my DJI microphone, but it keeps blocking out. It goes full volume and it just makes a screeching sound. So this restaurant is actually, it was a cannery at one time, so an oyster cannery. So I know we talked about Cobbs Landing over there, which was the general store. This was actually, I think, the cannery itself right here. So it's kind of a historical building in the downtown area. So I put a poll up and you guys voted, and I'm getting the potato chip crusted mahi sandwich, which I'm really excited about. But check this out. So I guess they heard that I was making a video, and the chef goes, how adventurous is he? And so they gave me fried gator bites. I've had gator before, absolutely. Tastes like chicken, Florida chicken. So this is a local owned restaurant. The waitress who's serving me is local. She actually used to work at another restaurant for many years, and we were talking about the history of the city and how, you know, they like to keep cool places like this in business and not put chains in, which I don't like chain restaurants myself. I'm a big fan of local businesses, local restaurants, where they employ local people, right? She has two of her kids work here, so which is pretty cool. And you know, everyone's here having a good time. It's a fun place. You can see it's right on the waterfront. You come out here, and there's people at the bar, really cool bar up there where everyone's having a beer, and just some people enjoying their lunch on a warm Thursday afternoon. But it's a neat place. So if you guys come, it's in downtown Fort Pierce, and it's right down here in the waterfront area, right by the marina. And you can come down here and, you know, be sure to check out Cobbs Landing. My sandwich should be here in just a little bit, but you want to come in here and support these local guys, maybe just get a beer, order some food, whatever, or get yourself some gator bites like I got. I'm adventurous, chef. Don't worry about that. If it's meat, I'm pretty much, I'll try a lot of different meats. Not so much vegetables, but definitely meat. And the sauce is excellent. All right, so those gator bites were delicious. That was a nice appetizer. Thank you, chef. I really appreciate that. You are awesome. But here is what you guys voted for. The potato chip crusted mahi sandwich. And big filet. Look how big this is, y'all. It's a big filet. That's a lot. So, all right, we're going in. Hot. Sandwich was delicious. I can't even finish the rest of it. It's so much, huge, and I'm plenty full right now. So what we're gonna do is check out another cool place. We're gonna go show you this really cool place that is a fishing bait bar, everything, little shack. But originally it was the guard station for the military training for the Navy SEALs. This was actually a guard shack, and you couldn't go past that unless you're military. So we're gonna head over there now. Oh man, that was such a good lunch. They were such awesome people. Hey, by the way, folks, there's a couple things about Fort Pierce that I forgot to mention. That they do a Friday night fest, which runs through the summer. Matter of fact, they're doing one tomorrow night. It's supposed to be really cool. They do it downtown. So you can go there and there's music and vendors and all sorts of cool stuff. Also in October, they do this haunted Halloween, or they have a lot of buildings here that are supposedly haunted. So if you're into that kind of thing, they do tours of the homes and you can go do ghost stories. That's kind of cool. And then obviously they do all the other stuff. They have a market, which is I think down here in the downtown area. They have a green market, which runs probably during the cooler months, like most green markets. They're done for the year. So all those kind of things, if you go to the Chamber of Commerce website, which is the Gable House that I was at earlier, then you can find all sort of information about what to do here in Fort Pierce. But all right, I am so stuffed. But as I said, we are gonna go over and check out this cool historic place called Little Jim's. So we're getting in the car and we're driving over the bridge. So let's go. All right, so we've made it up to a little place called Little Jim's. Little Jim's is a cool old slice of Florida, just the way we love it. It is a cool, nothing fancy, no frills bar. There's some live music playing, people having drinks. And what's cool about this place is it has a historic aspect of it that ties into Fort Pierce. And that is that this was actually the guard shack, right? Because as I said, we're gonna go over and look at the museum here. And so this was the guard shack to Hutchinson Island, basically the other side of the water over there. You had to go past that, and the only ones who got past that were those who belonged there, the Navy SEALs. So because all of that land at one time was all taken and being used by the United States military for World War II. So this little, shack over here was where the guys would you would check in, and if you didn't belong there, you were turned away. So now it's a really cool place. So when the war ended and when they stopped, doing the training over there, the guard shack, they left, they didn't need it, and someone moved in and started a bait and tackle shop. And that's what it is now. And so they got music and food, and it's actually a restaurant. You can eat there, but the boaters will come up here. They'll pull up. You can see there's a marina here. So you got some nice boats here for charter. And the people come up here, and they got some more docks over there, and they'll hang out and enjoy their Saturday or their Thursday like this. And there's a lot of cool Navy SEAL memorabilia over there, because a lot of the old Navy SEALs who went through basic training, they come back here and they'll go there and maybe leave something. So it's really cool. But I learned at lunch that this property is owned by the city of Fort Pierce, so they lease this. And there's talk about getting rid of it and putting something else here, which, guys, don't do that. City of Fort Pierce, don't do that. I'm telling you right now, this is what tourists like. This is what Floridians like. We don't want you to put some fancy, snobby, sucky bar here. Places like this is where I want to bring my kids, and I want to bring my wife up here because we've never been here before, and there's places like this we like discovering here in Florida. So yeah, don't ruin it. Don't put something dumb there. It's perfect the way it is, and it's got a cool historic aspect to it, which is why I'm making this video about Fort Pierce. So that's my 2 cents. Let's keep Little Jim's just the way it is, a cool Floridian landmark, and all these people up here having a great time, sitting there enjoying in the open air, live music, cool drinks. It doesn't get any more Florida than that. Medal of Honor statue, Mr. Ross Perot. Remember that guy? Check this out. How awesome is that? So this is really cool, y'all. I'm up here at the museum for the Navy SEALs, UDT, Underwater Demolition Team. frogmen, whatever you want to call them, and they closed at 4. I just missed it, but I am going to come back. It's $16 to go into there. I highly recommend if you're up here in Fort Pierce, you take a visit. I know I plan to come back. How cool is this? The only easy day was yesterday. Remember that one. And well, this place is just awesome. So, I mean, look at this. I'm trying to go over that. Low wall, high wall. Look at the wall over there. Use the obstacle course at your own risk. Swing, stop, jump. So you'd have to run up here, swing, stop, jump. No, I'm not going to try it. I'm 59. I'll be limping out of here. Climb at your own risk. The tower's not for public use. Look at that, guys. Check this thing out. How cool is that? Pretty awesome. Special Operations Craft, Riverine. And you see the up there. It has it right up there. Now check this out. That's a Special Operations Craft. Oh man, guys, this is amazing. Check that thing out, man. Jet propulsion. And who knows what they use now, right? That's old stuff. Holy cow. Look at that. Wow. That's awesome. The button. Do you remember when I went on the submarine? The New Hampshire nuclear sub, if you watch that video from Fleet Week, they had a chamber where they could go up into and it floods and releases pressure for the frogmen to go out. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know for sure, but I think that's how they dock one of those subs on it and they can get off and go do that. I got one thing I want to say here. You want to quit, don't you?
No, sir! DOR! I ain't gonna quit!
Officer and gentlemen, good movie. You should go watch it. No dogs, fishing, go south. So hey guys, if you like these videos, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified every time I make a new video. I'm currently putting videos up every Sunday at 10 a.m. just like this one and other videos where I talk about South Florida real estate and neat cities. And then I do live streams on Wednesday where you can hop on and we talk about other things that not necessarily need to be made into a video, but still important stuff to keep you updated. So like, subscribe, like the channel. That helps my analytics. It means if you like it, maybe someone else will. And also share my channel with anyone who you think might like to work with a realtor like me, because I am a realtor with True Floridian Realty. I'm a broker associate, and I can help you buy and sell real estate here in Florida. So I would appreciate that as well. But look at this, guys. Let me turn around. Imagine the Navy SEALs walking out here, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., whenever they had to get out here, and had to come to this beach and do what they do. So here's an interesting fact. Out of 1,000 candidates we try out for the Navy SEALs program each year, only 200 to 250 actually make it through. So the failure rate is about 75%. That should tell you just how hard it is to be one of those heroes. So guys, if you want to get one of my guides, like my relocation guide, my 2025 hurricane guide, a buyer's guide, a seller's guide, scan this QR code, fill it out, and I'll be sure to mail you one. You just let me know which one you want. So, Fort Pierce, cool little town. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this little place. I think it's another little hidden gem here in Florida. Man, I can't tell you how awesome the people were today. From the Dave at the brewery to Chris and the crew over at Cobbs Landing. They were just absolutely amazing. All the people, even when I was looking for directions and some strangers go, "What are you looking for, buddy?" They offered to help. And you know what? It's this small town vibe that makes you feel at home. It's why people love these kind of places, and I hope it stays that way forever, because it's a great feeling and just nice, warm people. They made me feel so welcomed here to Fort Pierce. So thank you guys. Thank everyone for the hospitality. It was greatly appreciated. The food was amazing. I can't wait to have my beer tonight from Selfish Brewing. Excited to try that out. And a cool place. And there are some communities up here if you want to reach out to me and you're interested in real estate. And but there's homes all around. And I saw varying prices. So just reach out to me and I'll be happy to, you tell me what your budget is, what you're looking for, and I'll find a house for you if you're interested. But come here and visit. Come eat the food, drink the drinks, shop the shops, hit the museum, support the local economy, and let's save gems, little gems. Let's keep places like that here for the next generation, for my kids to come up and enjoy. Don't put something new and fancy there, because we don't want that. They don't want that. All right, guys, from Fort Pierce, Florida, in front of this amazing statue honoring our frogmen, our heroes, I say, wherever you're in the world, get out and enjoy paradise. I'll talk to you next week.